If you go down to the woods today, you're sure of a big surprise. If you go down to the woods today, you'd better go in disguise. For every bear that ever there was will gather there for certain, because today's the day the bears launch their bear attack. Hello and welcome to this second look read through of Mucedorus, a most pleasant comedy of Mucedorus, the king's son of Lynsey, Amadine, the king's daughter of Aragon, with the merry conceits of Mouse. I don't have a mouse, I have a hamster, and that's about as close as we get. Yes, this is a fun play that we've looked at once already as a first look exploring session, and we looked at all of the permutations of the text. So it starts off as the text we're going to be doing today in the 1590s. And then about 10 years later, they added some additional scenes. And we looked at all of those things last time. And one of the things we said last time we looked at this play was, it'd be quite interesting to see what the original edit, how it runs, how it feels. Were the additional scenes sort of necessary? Did it matter? So that's what we're doing today. This session is not quite as organized as some of the other second look exploring sessions, because we're doing another one tomorrow. So we're doing 2 in a week. And I said, tomorrow's is priority. So this is very much a matter of just trying to find out how this play runs by going at it with enthusiasm without almost any preparation whatsoever. And the people who are looking at it with minimal preparation, but lots of enthusiasm and as much energy and excitement as one can gather on a Thursday. Reading today, the part of Mouse is...
I'm Steve Longstaffe, a retired academic based in the northwest of England.
And reading the character of Comedy, Messenger, and Rumbelo is...
Hello, I'm Tamara. I'm an actor currently based in Germany.
And reading Amadine today is...
Liza Graham. I'm a zookeeper in London.
And reading Bremo today is...
Hi, I'm Alan Scott, a bear manufacturer living in Suffolk.
Yes, Bremo the wild man. And there is a reason why we got lots of bears. It doesn't matter at this precise second in time. Reading Segasto and is...
Hello, I'm Emma Kemp. I'm an actor living in London, and this is Snuff, the polar bear.
And reading a king is...
Hello, I am Sarah Blake. I'm an actor, writer and director living in London. No, Germany. London? I wish.
It's that kind of day, people. It's that kind of day. Reading Tremelio today is...
Hello, I'm Dan. I'm an actor based in Montpellier, France. Go Chicago Bears.
Reading Envy and made Ariena is...
Hello, my name is Lynn. I'm a college writing teacher. I live in the Northwestern United States.
Reading Collen and an old woman is...
Hello, I'm Helen Good, and this is Ted, who's nearly as old as I am.
Oh. And reading Mucedorus himself is...
Hello, Lynsey Beauchamp here, living in Norfolk, professional actor, no bear.
And I am your host, Robert Crighton. I will be occasionally performing a bear. It's the wrong kind of bear. It should be a polar bear. We do have actually more apposite bears in the room, but you know, what are you going to do? I am also going to be performing the role of a small boy as well, with a bear. So yes, there is a reason why there are bears in this thing. That's why there are the bears. We weren't just having a nervous breakdown, honest. But it has been a long year. So without further ado, we're going to be going from the beginning of the play. We're going to be running through it to the end, and we're going to see what comes out of it. So if I could ask everyone who's not in the opening scene to disappear slowly from the scene. And we hope that you enjoy what you see.
Why, thus do I hope to please. Music revives, and mirth is tolerable. Comedy, play thy part, and please make merry them that come to joy with thee. Joy, then, good gentles, I hope to make you laugh. Sound forth Bellona's silver-tuned strings. Time fits us well the day, and place is ours.
Nay, stay, minion, there lies a block. What, all in mirth? I'll interrupt your tale and mix your music with a tragic end.
What monstrous, ugly hag is this that dares control the pleasures of our will? Vaunt, churlish cur, besmeared with gory blood that seems to check the blossoms of delight and stifle the sound of sweet Bellona's breath. Blush, monster, blush, and post away with shame that seekest disturbance of a goddess' deeds.
Post hence thyself, thou counter-checking troll. I will possess this habit spite of thee, and gain the glory of thy wished port. I'll thunder music shall appall the nymphs, and make them shiver their clattering strings, flying for succor to their Danish caves. Hearken! Now shall hear a noise, shall fill the air with a shrilling sound, and thunder music to the gods above. Mars shall himself breathe down a peerless crown upon brave Envy's head, and raise his shivel with a lasting fame. And this brave music, and in this brave music Envy takes delight, where I may see them wallow in their blood and spurn at arms and legs quite shivered off, and hear the cry of many thousand slain. How likest thou this, my troll, this sport alone for me?
Vaunt, bloody cur, nursed up with the tiger's sap, that so does seek to quail a woman's mind. Comedy is mild, gentle, willing for to please, and seeks to gain the love of all estates. Delighting in mirth, mixed all with lovely tales, and bringeth things with treble joy to pass. Thou bloody envious disdainer of men's joys, whose name is fraught with bloody stratagems, delights in nothing but in spoil and death, where thou mayst trample in their lukewarm blood, and grasp their hearts within thy cursed paws. Yet veil thy mind, revenge thou not on me. A silly woman begs it at thy hands. Give me the leave to utter out my play, forbear this place. I humbly crave thee. Hence, and mix not death mongst pleasing comedies, that treat naught else but pleasure and delight. If any spark of human rests in thee, forbear, be gone. Tender the suit of me.
Why, so I will. Forbearance shall be such as treble death shall cross thee with despite, and make thee mourn where most thou joyest, turning thy mirth into a deadly dole, whirling thy pleasures with a peal of death, and drench thy methods in a sea of blood. Thus will I do, thus shall I bear with thee. And more to vex thee with a deeper spite, I will with threats of blood begin thy play, favoring thee with envy and with hate.
Then, ugly monster, do thy worst. I will defend them in despite of thee. And though thou thinkst with tragic fumes to brave my play unto my deep disgrace, I force it not. I scorn what thou canst do. I'll grace it so. Thyself shall it confess, from tragic stuff to be a pleasant comedy.
Why then, comedy, send thy actors forth, and I will cross the first steps of their tread, making them fear the very dart of death.
And I'll defend them, maugre all thy spite. So ugly fiend, farewell till time shall serve, that we may meet to parley for the best.
Content, comedy, I'll go spread my branch, and scattered blossoms from mine envious tree shall prove to monsters spoiling of their joys.
Madam, fly, or else we are but dead.
Help! Segasto! Help! Help, sweet Segasto, or else I die!
Alas, madam, there is no way but flight. Then haste and save yourself.
Why, then I die! Ah! Help me in distress!
Stay, lady, stay, and be no more dismayed. That cruel beast, most merciless and fell, which hath bereaved thousands of their lives, affrighted many with his hard pursues, prying from place to place to find his prey, prolonging thus his life by others' death. His carcass now lies headless, void of breath.
That foul, deformed monster! Is he dead?
For yourself thereof. Behold his head, which, if you please you, lady, to accept, with willing heart I yield it to your majesty.
Thanks, worthy shepherd, thanks 1,000 times. This gift, assure thyself, contents me more than greatest bounty of a mighty prince, although he were the monarch of the world.
Most gracious goddess, more than mortal white, your heavenly hue of right imports no less. Most glad am I that it was my chance to undertake this enterprise in hand, which doth so greatly glad your princely mind.
No goddess, shepherd, but a mortal wight distressed, as thou seest. My father here is King of Aragon. I, Amadine, his only daughter am, and after him sole heir unto the crown. Now, whereas it is my father's will to marry me unto Segasto, one whose wealth through father's former usury is known to be no less than wonderful, we both of custom oftentimes did use, leaving the court, to walk within the fields for recreation, especially in the spring, in that it yields great store of rare delights, and passing farther than our wonted walks, scarce entered were within these luckless woods, but right before us down a steep hill, a monstrous ugly bear did hie him fast to meet us both. I faint to tell the rest, good shepherd, but suppose the ghastly looks, the hideous fears, the 1,000 woes which at this instant Amadine sustained.
Yet, worthy princess, let thy sorrows cease, and let this sight your former joys revive.
Believe me, shepherd, so it doth, no less.
Long may they last unto your heart's content. But tell me, lady, what is become of him Segasto called? What is become of him?
I know not. I that know the powers divine. But God grant this, that sweet Segasto live.
Yet hard-hearted he, in such a case, so cowardly to save himself by flight, and leave so brave a princess to the spoil.
Well, shepherd, for thy worthy valor tried, endangering thyself to set me free, unrecompensed sure thou shalt not be. In court thy courage shall be plainly known. Throughout the kingdom will I spread thy name, to thy renown and never-dying fame, and that thy courage may be better known, bear thou the head of this most monstrous beast in open sight to every courtier's view. So will the king my father thee reward. Come, let's away, and guard me to the court.
With all my heart.
When heaps of harms do hover overhead, 'tis time, as then some say, to look about, and so of ensuing harms to choose the least. But hard, yea, hapless is that wretch's chance, luckless his lot, and caitiff-like accursed, at whose proceedings fortune ever frowns. Myself, I mean, most subject unto thrall, for the more I seek to shun the worst, the more by proof I find myself accursed. Erewhiles assaulted with an ugly bear. Fair Amadine in company all alone, forthwith by flight I thought to save myself, leaving my Amadine unto her shifts. The death it was, for to resist the bear, and death no less of Amadine's harms to hear. Accursed I, in lingering life thus long, in living thus each minute of an hour doth pierce my heart with darts of 1,000 deaths. If she, by flight her fury do escape, what will she think? Will she not say, yea, flatly to my face, accusing me of mere disloyalty? A trusty friend is tried in time of need, but I, when she in danger was of death and needed me and cried, Segasto, help! I turned my back and quickly ran away. Unworthy I to bear this vital breath. But what needs these plaints? If Amadine do live, then happy I. She will in time forgive and so forget. Amadine is merciful, not Juno-like, in harmful heart to harbour hatred long.
Clubs, prongs, pitchforks, bills, help! A bear! A bear! A bear!
Still bears, and nothing else but bears! Tell me, Sirrah, where she is.
She's run down to the woods. I see a white head and a white belly.
Thou talkest of wonders, to tell me of white bears. But, Sirrah, didst thou ever see any such?
No, faith, I never saw any such. But I remember my father's words. He bade me take heed. I was not caught with a white bear.
A lamentable tale, no doubt.
I tell you what, sir, as I was going afield to serve my father's great horse and carried a bottle of hay on my head, you see, sir, I, fast hoodwinked that I could see nothing, perceiving the bear coming, I threw my hay into the hedge and ran away.
What, from nothing?
I warrant you, yeah, I saw something, but there was 2 loads of thorns beside my bottle of hay, and that made 3.
But tell me, Sirrah, the bear that thou didst see, did she not bear a bucket on her arm?
I never saw a bear go milking all my life. But, Arcus, I did not look so high as her arm. I saw nothing but a white head and a white belly.
But tell me, Sirrah, where dost thou dwell?
Dost thou not know me?
Why, no. How should I know thee?
You know nobody, and you know not me. I tell you, sir, I am the good man, Rat's son, of the next parish over the hill.
Goodman Rat's son? Why, what's thy name?
I am very near kin unto him.
I think so, but what's thy name?
My name? I have a very pretty name. I'll tell you what my name is. Mouse.
What? Plain mouse?
Aye, plain mouse, without either welt or guard. Do you hear, sir? I'm but a very young mouse. My tail is scarce grown out. Look you here.
I pray thee, but who gave thee that name?
Well, faith, sir, I know not that, but if you would fain know, ask my father's great horse, for he hath been half a year longer with my father than I have.
This seems to be a merry fellow. I care not if I take him home with me. Mirth is a comfort to a troubled mind. A merry man a merry master makes. How sayest thou, Sirrah? Wilt thou dwell with me?
Nay, soft, sir. 2 words to a bargain. Pray you, what occupation are you?
No occupation. I live upon my lands.
Your lands? Well, you are no master for me. What, do you think I'm so mad to go seek my living in the lands, amongst stones and briars and bushes, and tear me holiday apparel? Not I, by your leave.
Why, I do not mean thou shalt.
How then?
Why, Thou shalt be my man, and wait upon me at the court.
What's that?
That's where the king lies.
What's the king? Is it man or a woman?
A man, as thou art.
As I am? Fuck you, sir. Pray you, what kin is he to Goodman King of our parish, the churchwarden?
No kin to him. He's the king of the whole land.
King of the land? I can't see him.
If thou wilt dwell with me, thou shalt see him every day.
Shall I go home again to be torn in pieces with bears? No, not I. I will go home, put on a clean shirt, and then go drown myself.
Thou shalt not need. If thou dwell with me, thou shalt want nothing.
Shall I not? Then here's my hand. I'll dwell with you. And hark you, sir, now you've entertained me, I will tell you what I can do. I can keep my tongue from picking and stealing, and my hands from lying and slandering, I warrant you, as well as you ever had, man, in all your life.
Now will I to court, with sorrowful heart, rounded with doubts. If Amadine do live, then happy I, yea, happy I, if Amadine do live.
Now, brave lords, that our wars are brought to end, our foes have had the foil, and we in safety rest, it behoves us to use such clemency and peace as valour in the wars. It is as great honour to be bountiful at home as to be conquerors in the field. Therefore, my lords, the more to my content, your liking, and your country's safeguard, we are disposed in marriage for to give our daughter to Lord Segasto here, who shall succeed the diadem after me, and reign hereafter as I tofore have done, your sole and lawful king of Aragon. What say you, lordings? Like you of my advice?
And please your majesty, we do not only allow of your highness' pleasure, but also vow faithfully in what we may to further it.
Thanks, good my lords. If long Adrostus live, he will at full requite your courtesies. Tremelio, in recompense of thy late valour done, take unto thee the Catalonian prince, lately our prisoner, taken in the wars. Be thou his keeper. His ransom shall be thine. We'll think of it when leisure shall afford. Meanwhile, do use him well. His father is a king.
Thanks to your majesty, his usage shall be such as he thereat shall think no cause to grudge.
Then march we on to court and rest our wearied limbs. But, Collen, I have a tale in secret kept for thee. When thou shalt hear a watchword from thy king, then think some weighty matter is at hand that highly shall concern our state. Then, Collen, look thou be not far from me. And for thy service thou tofore hast done, thy truth and valour proved in every point, I shall with bounties thee enlarge before. So, guard us to the court.
Whatso my sovereign doth command me do, with willing mind I gladly yield consent.
Tell me, sirrah, how'd you like your weapons?
Very well, sir. They keep my sides warm.
They keep the dogs from your shins very well, do they not?
Yeah, keep the dogs from my shins? I would scorn, but my shins could keep the dogs from them.
Well, sirrah, leaving idle talk, tell me, dost thou know Captain Tremelio's chamber?
Very well. It hath a door.
I think so, for so hath every chamber. But dost thou know the man?
Forsooth, he hath a nose on his face.
Why, so hath everyone.
That's more than I know.
But dost thou remember the captain that was here with the king even now, that brought the young prince prisoner?
Very well.
Go unto him, and bid him come to me. Tell him I have a matter in secret to impart to him.
I will, master. Master, what's his name?
Why, Captain Tremelio.
Oh, the Mellium man. I know him very well. He brings Mel every Sunday. But hark you, sir, master. Must I bid him come to you, or must you come to him?
No, sirrah, he must come to me.
Hark you, master. How if he'd been not at home? What shall I do then?
Why then, leave word with some of his folks.
Master, if there be nobody within, I will leave words with his dog.
Why, can his dog speak?
I cannot tell. But wherefore doth he keep his chamber else?
To keep out such knaves as thou art.
Nay then, by a lady, you go yourself.
You will go, sir, will ye not?
Yes, marry will I. 'Tis come to my head, if he be not be within, I'll bring his chamber to you.
What, wilt thou pluck down the king's house?
Oh, nay, my lady, I'll know the price of it first. Master, it's such a hard name. I've forgotten it again. I pray you, tell me his name.
I tell thee, Captain Tremelio.
Oh, Captain Treble Knave. Captain Treble Knave.
How now, sirrah? Dost thou call me?
You must come to my master, Captain Treble Knave.
My lord Segasto, did you send for me?
I did, Tremelio. Sirrah, about your business.
What's that? Can you tell?
No, not well.
Well, marry them. I can. Straight to the kitchen dresser, to John the cook, get me a good piece of beef and brewis. And then to the buttery hatch, to Thomas the butler, for a jack of beer. And then for an hour I'll so belabour myself, and I pray you, call not on me till you think I have done, I pray you. Good master.
Well, sir, away. Tremelio, this it is. Thou knowest the valour of Segasto, spread through all the kingdom of Aragon, and such as hath found triumph and favours, never daunted at any time, but now a shepherd is admired at in court for worthiness, and Segasto's honour is laid aside. My will, therefore, is this, that thou dost find some means to work the shepherd's death. I know thy strength sufficient to perform my desire, and thy love no otherwise than to revenge my injuries.
It is not the friends of a shepherd that Tremelio fears. Therefore account it accomplished what I take in hand.
Thanks, good Tremelio, and assure thyself, what I promised that will I perform.
Thanks, my good lord, and in good time, see where he cometh. Stand by a while, and you shall see me put in practice your intended drifts. Have at thee, swain, if thou hit thee right.
Vile coward, so without cause to strike a man. Turn, coward, turn, now strike, and do thy worst.
Hold, shepherd! Hold, spare him, kill him not! Cursed villain, tell me, what hast thou done? Oh, Tremelio, trusty Tremelio, I sorrow for thy death, and since that thou, living, didst prove faithful to Segasto, so Segasto, now living, shall honour the dead corpse of Tremelio with revenge. Blood-thirsty villain, born and bred to merciless murder, tell me, how durst thou be so bold as once to lay thy hands upon the least of mine? Assure thyself, thou shalt be used according to the law.
Segasto, cease. These threats are needless, but in mine own defence, accuse not me of murder that I've done nothing.
Nay, shepherd, reason not with me. I'll manifest the fact unto the king, who will be thy death, as thou deservest. What ho, mouse, come away.
Now, what's the matter? I thought you'd be calling before I'd done.
Help, away with my friend.
Is he drunk? Cannot he stand on his feet?
No, he's not drunk. He is slain.
Slain? He's not slain.
He's killed, I tell thee.
You used to kill your friends? I will serve you no longer.
I'll tell thee, the shepherd killed him.
Oh, did he so? Master, I will have all his apparel if I carry him away.
Why, so thou shalt.
Why then, I will help. Yes, master. I think his mother sang Luby to him. He's so heavy.
Behold the fickle state of man, always mutable, never at one. Sometimes we feed on fancies, sweat of our desires. Sometimes again we feel the heat of extreme miseries. Now am I in favour about the court and country. Tomorrow those favours will be turned to frowns. Today I live revenged on my foe. Tomorrow I die, my foe revenged on me.
No passenger this morning? What, not one? A chance that seldom doth befall. What, not one? Then lie thou there, and rest thyself till I have further need. Now, Bremo, sith thy leisure so affords, a needless thing. Who knows not Bremo's strength, who like a king commands within these woods. The bear, the boar, dares not abide my sight, but hastes away to save themselves by flight. The crystal waters in the bubbling brooks, when I come by, doth swiftly slide away, and clasp themselves in closets under banks, afraid to look bold Bremo in the face. The aged oaks at Bremo's breath do bow, and all things else are still at my command. Else what would I? Rend them in pieces, and pluck them from the earth, and each way else I would revenge myself. Why, who comes here with whom I dare not fight? Who fights with me and not doth die the death? Not one. What favour shows this sturdy stick to those that here within these woods are combatants with me? Why, death, and nothing else but present death. With restless rage I wander through these woods. No creature here but feareth Bremo's force. Man, woman, child, beast and bird, and everything that doth approach my sight, are forced to fall, if Bremo once do frown. Come, cudgel, come, my partner in my spoils, for here I see the day it will not be, but when it falls, that I encounter any, one pat sufficeth for to work my will. What? Comes not one? Then let's be gone. Time will serve, when we shall better speed.
Shepherd, thou hast heard thine accusers. Murder is laid to thy charge. What canst thou say? Thou hast deserved death.
Dread sovereign, I must needs confess I slew this captain in mine own defence, not of any malice, but by chance. But mine accuser hath a further meaning.
Words will not here prevail. I seek for justice, and justice craves his death.
Shepherd, thine own confession hath condemned thee. Sirrah, take him away and do him to execution straight.
So he shall, I warrant him. But do you hear, Master King? He's kin to a monkey. His neck's bigger than his head.
Sirrah, away with him and hang him about the middle.
Aha, yes, forsooth, I warrant you. Come on, sir. So like a sheep biter he looks.
Dread sovereign and well-beloved sire, on benden knees, I crave the life of this condemned shepherd, which heretofore preserved the life of thy sometime distressed daughter.
Preserve the life of my sometime distressed daughter? How can that be? I never knew the time wherein thou wast distressed. I never knew the day but that I have maintained thy estate as best beseemed the daughter of a king. I never saw the shepherd until now. How comes it then that he preserved thy life?
Once, walking with Segasto in the woods, further than our accustomed manner was, right before us, down a steep fall hill, a monstrous ugly bear did hie him fast to meet us both. Now, whether this be true, I refer it to the credit of Segasto.
Most true, and like your majesty.
How then?
The bear, being eager to obtain his prey, made forward to us with an open mouth, as if he meant to swallow us both at once.
Oh.
The sight whereof did make us both to dread, but especially your daughter Amadine, for I saw no succor incident, but in Segasto's valor I grew desperate, and he, most coward-like, began to fly, left me, distressed, to be devoured of him. How say you, Segasto, is it not true?
Oh, his silence verifies it to be true. What then?
Then I, amazed, distressed, all alone did hie me fast to scape that ugly bear. But all in vain, for why he reached after me, and oft I hardly did escape his paws, till at the length this shepherd came and brought to me his head. Come hither, boy. Lo, here it is, which I present unto your majesty.
The slaughter of this bear deserves great fame.
The slaughter of a man deserves great blame.
Indeed, occasion oftentimes so falls out.
Tremelio in the wars, O king, preserved thee.
The shepherd in the woods, O king, preserved me.
Tremelio fought when many men did yield.
So would the shepherd had he been in field.
So would my master had he not run away.
Tremelio's force saved thousands from the foe.
The shepherd's force hath saved thousands mo.
Sheep ticks, nothing else.
Segasto, cease to accuse the shepherd. His worthiness deserves a recompense. Oh, we are bound to do the shepherd good. Shepherd, whereas it was my sentence thou shouldst die, so shall my sentence stand, for thou shalt die.
Thanks to your majesty.
But soft, Segasto, not for this offence. Long mayst thou live, and when the sisters shall decree to cut in twain the twisted thread of life, then let him die. For this I set him free, and for thy valour I will honour thee.
Thanks to your majesty.
Come, daughter, let us now depart to honour the worthy valour of the shepherd with our rewards.
Ooh, master. Hear you? You've made a fresh hand now. You will be slow, you. Why, what will you do now? You've lost me a good occupation by this means. Aha, yeah. Faith, master. Now, I can't hang the shepherd. I pray you. And let me take pains to hang you. It's half an hour's exercise.
You are still in your knavery. But Sith, I cannot have his life. I will procure his banishment forever. Come on, Sirrah.
Yes, forsooth, I come. Laugh at him, I pray you.
From Amadine and from her father's court, with gold and silver and rich rewards flowing from the banks of golden treasuries, more may I boast and say, but I was never shepherd in such dignity. 'Tis a marvellous thing.
All hail, worthy shepherd.
All hail, lousy shepherd.
Welcome, my friends. From whence come you?
The king and Amadine greet thee well, and after greetings done, bids thee depart the court. Shepherd, be gone.
Shepherd, take law legs. Fly away, shepherd.
What words are these? Come these from Amadine?
Aye, from Amadine.
Aye, from Amadine.
Ah, luckless fortune, worse than Phaeton's tail. My former bliss is now become my bale.
Wilt thou poison thyself?
My former heaven is now become my hell.
Worst alehouse I ever came in all my life.
What shall I do?
Go hang thyself. Half an hour.
Amadine so churlishly command to banish the shepherd from her father's court?
What should shepherds do in the court?
What should shepherds do among us? Have we not lords enough to overrule us in the court?
Why, shepherds are men, and kings are no more.
Shepherds are men and masters over their flock.
Well, that's a lie. Who pays them their wages then?
Well, you are always interrupting of me, but you are best to look to him, lest you hang for him when he is gone.
And you shall hang for company, leaving me alone. Shepherd, stand forth, hear thy sentence. Shepherd, be gone within 3 days, in pain of my displeasure. Shepherd, be gone. Shepherd, be gone. Be gone. Be gone. Be gone, be gone, be gone, be gone. Shepherd. Shepherd. Shepherd!
And must I go, and must I needs depart? Ye goodly groves, partakers of my songs in time to fore, when fortune did not frown, pour forth your plaints and wail a while with me. And thou, bright sun, my comfort in the cold, hide thy face, and leave me comfortless. Ye wholesome herbs and sweet-smelling savours, yea, each thing else prolonging life of man, change your wonted course, that I, wanting your aid in woeful sort, may die.
Ariena! 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 Ah, if anybody ask for me, make some excuse till I return.
But then Segasto call.
Do thou the like to him. I mean not to stay long.
Voice so sweet, my pining spirits revives.
Shepherd, well met. Tell me how thou dost.
Oh, I linger life, yet wish for speedy death.
Shepherd, although thy banishment already be decreed, and all against my will, yet Amadine...
Oh, Amadine, to hear of banishment is death. Aye, double death to me. But since I must depart, one thing I crave.
Say on with all my heart.
In absence, either far or near, you honour me as servant with your name.
Not so.
Why?
I honour thee as sovereign of my heart.
A shepherd and a sovereign, nothing like.
Yet like enough where there is no dislike.
Great dislike or else no banishment.
Shepherd, it is only Segasto that procures thy banishment.
Unworthy wights are most in jealousy.
Would God they would free thee from banishment, or likewise banish me.
Amen, say I, to have your company.
Well, shepherd, sith thou sufferest this for my sake, with thee in exile also let me live. On this condition, shepherd, thou canst love?
No longer love, no longer let me live.
Of late I loved one indeed, now love I none but only thee.
Thanks, worthy princess. I burn likewise, yet smother up the blast. I dare not promise what I may perform.
Well, shepherd, hark what I shall say. I will return unto my father's court, there to provide me of such necessaries as for my journey I shall think right fit. This being done, I will return to thee. Do thou therefore appoint the place where we may meet.
Down in the valley where I slew the bear. And there grows a fair, broad, branched beech that overshades a well. So, who comes first, let them abide the happy meeting of us both. How like you this?
I like it very well.
Now, if you please, you may appoint the time.
Full 3 hours hence, God willing, I will return.
The thanks that Paris gave the Grecian queen, the like doth Mucedorus yield.
Then Mucedorus, for 3 hours, farewell.
Your departure, lady, breeds a privy pain.
'Tis well, Segasto, that thou hast thy will. Should such a shepherd, such a simple swain as he eclipse thy credit, famous through the court, no, ply, Segasto, ply. Let it not in Aragon be said, a shepherd hath Segasto's honour won.
What ho, master! Will you come away?
Will you come hither, I pray you? What's the matter?
Why, is it not past 11 o'clock?
Oh, how then, sir?
I pray you, sir, come away to dinner.
I pray you, come hither.
Such a to-do with you. Will you never come?
I pray you, sir. What news of the message I sent you about?
I tell you, all the messes be on the table already. Not so much as a mess of mustard half an hour ago.
Come, sir, your mind is all upon your belly. You have forgotten what I did bid you do.
I know nothing. You bade me to go to breakfast.
Was that all?
Faith, I've forgotten it. The very scent of the meat made me forget it quite.
You have forgotten the errand I bid you do.
What errand? An errant knave or an errant whore?
Why, thou knave, did I not bid thee banish the shepherd?
Oh, the shepherd's bastard.
I tell thee, the shepherd's banishment.
I tell thee, the shepherd's bastard shall be well kept. I'll look to it myself. I pray you come away to dinner.
Then you will not tell me whether you have banished him or no.
I cannot say banishment. You would give me £1,000 to say so.
Aye, you horse and slave. How have you forgotten that I sent you and another to drive away the shepherd?
What an ass you are. Here's a stir indeed. Here's a message, errant, banishment. I can't tell what.
I pray you, sir, shall I know whether you have drove him away?
Okay, I think I have. And you will not believe me, ask me staff.
Why, can my staff tell?
Well, he was with me too.
Then happy I that have obtained my will.
And happier I, if we could go to dinner.
Come, sirrah, follow me.
I warrant you, I will not lose an inch of you now you're going to dinner. Promise you. I thought it's 7 years before I could get him away.
God grant my long delay procures no harm, nor this my tarrying frustrate my pretense. My Mucedorus surely stays for me and thinks me overlong. At length I come my present promise to perform. Ah, what a thing is firm, unfeigned love! What is it which true love dares not attempt? My father he may make, but I must match. Segasto loves, but Amadine must like where likes her best. Compulsion is a thrall. No, the hearty choice is all in all. The shepherd's virtue Amadine esteems. But what? Methinks my shepherd is not come. I muse at that. The hour is sure at hand. Well, here I'll rest till Mucedorus come.
Got you. A happy prey. Now, Bremo, feed on flesh. Dainties, Bremo, dainties, thy hungry paunch to fill. Now glut thy greedy guts with lukewarm blood. Come, fight with me. I long to see thee dead.
How can she fight that weapons cannot wield?
What, canst not fight? Then lie thou down and die.
What? Must I die?
What needs these words? I thirst to suck thy blood.
Yet pity me and let me live a while.
No pity I. I'll feed upon thy flesh. I'll tear thy body piecemeal, joint from joint.
Ah, how I want my shepherd's company!
I'll crush thy bones betwixt two oaken trees.
Haste, shepherd, haste, or else thou comest too late.
I'll suck the sweetness from thy marrow bones.
Spare! Spare to shed my guiltless blood!
With this my bat I'll beat out thy brains. Down, down, I say. Prostrate thyself upon the ground.
Then, Mucedorus, farewell, my hoped joys. Farewell, yes, farewell life, and welcome present death. To thee, O God, I yield my dying ghost.
Now, Bremo, play thy part. How now? What sudden chance is this? My limbs do tremble and my sinews shake. My unweakened arms have lost their former force. Ah, Bremo, Bremo, what a foil hast thou, that yet at no time e'er wast afraid to dare the greatest gods to fight with thee. And now wants strength for one down-driving blow. Ah, how my courage fails when I should strike. Some new-come spirit abiding in my breast saith, spare her, Bremo, spare her, do not kill. Shall I spare her, which never spared any? To it, Bremo, to it. Essay again. I cannot wield my weapons in my hand. Methinks I should not strike so fair a one. I think her beauty hath bewitched my force, or else within me altered nature's course. Ay, woman, wilt thou live in the woods with me?
Fain would I live, yet loath to live in woods.
Thou shalt not choose it. It shall be as I say, and therefore follow me.
It was my will an hour ago and more, as was my promise, for to make return, but other business hindered my presence. It is a world to see when man appoints, and how purposely one certain thing decrees, how many things may hinder his intent. What one would wish, the same is farthest off. But yet the appointed time cannot be past, nor hath her presence yet prevented me. Well, here I'll stay and expect the coming.
Hold him! Stay him! Hold! Hold him! Stay him! Hold!
One or other is pursued, no doubt, perhaps some search for me. 'Tis good to doubt the worst, therefore I will be gone.
Hold him! Hold him! Hold him! Hold him!
Hold him! Hold him! Hold it! is a stir indeed. Here came Hugh after the crier, and I was set close at Mother's Nip's house. There I called for 3 pots of ale. 'Tis the manner of us courtiers. Now, sir, I'd taken the maidenhead of 2 of them. Now I was lifting up the 3rd to my mouth. There came, hold him, hold him. Well, I couldn't tell who to catch hold on. So, well, I'm sure I caught one. Perchance he might be in this pot. I'll see. Can't see him yet. I'll look a little further. Massey's a little slave if he be here. Nobody. All this goes well, yeah. But if the old trot should come for a pot, marry, there's the matter. I care not. I'll face her out. I'll call her. Rusty, dusty, musty, fusty, crusty, firebrand, and worse than all that. So face her out of a pot. It's soft. Here she comes.
Come on, you knave! Where's my pot, you knave?
Go look your pot. Come not to me for your pot. 'Twere good for you.
Thou liest, thou knave. Thou hast my pot.
You lie and you say it. I, your pot. I know what I'll say.
Why, what wilt thou say?
Say I have him, and thou darest.
Why, thou knave? Thou hast not only my pot, but my drink, unpaid for.
You lie like an old... I will not say whore.
Dost thou call me whore? I'll cap thee for my pot.
Cap me an thou darest. Search me whether I have it or no.
How now, Cyril? What's the matter?
Oh, flies, master, flies.
Flies? Where are they?
Well, here, master, all about your face.
Why, thou liest. I think thou art mad.
Oh, master, I have killed a dung cart full at least.
Go to, Cyril. Leave this idle talk. Give ear to me.
Give you one of my ears? What, not an you were 10 masters?
Why, sir, I bade you give ear to my words.
I tell you, I will not be made a curtal for any man's pleasure.
I tell thee, attend what I say. Go thy way straight and rear the whole town.
Now, rear the town? Well, go yourself, it's more than I can do. Why do you think I can rear a town? I can scarce rear a pot of ale to me head. I should rear a town? Should I not?
Go to the constable and make a privy search, for the shepherd is run away with the king's daughter.
Oh. Is the shepherd run away with the king's daughter, or is the king's daughter run away with the shepherd?
I cannot tell, but they are both gone together.
Oh, what a fool is she to run away with a shepherd. I think I'm a little handsomer man than the shepherd myself. Tell me, master, must I make a privy search or search in the privy?
Why, dost thou think they will be there?
I cannot tell.
Well then, search everywhere. Leave no place unsearched for them.
Oh, now I am in office. Now will I to the firebrand's house and will not leave one place unsearched. Nay, I'll to her ale stand and drink as long as I stand. And when I've done, I'll let out all the rest to see if he be not hid in the barrel. And if I find him not there, I'll to the cupboard. I will not leave one corner of her house unsearched. Ye faith, ye old crust, I will be with you now.
Now, Mucedorus, whither wilt thou go? Home to thy father, to thy native soil, or try some long abode within these woods? Well, I will hence depart and hie me home. What, hie me home, said I. That may not be. In Amadine rests my felicity. Then, Mucedorus, do as thou didst decree. Attire thee hermit-like within these groves. Walk often to the beach and view the well. Make settles there and seat thyself thereon. And when thou feelest thyself to be athirst, then drink a hearty draught to Amadine. No doubt she thinks on thee, and will one day come pledge thee at this well. Come, Habit, thou art fit for me. No shepherd now, a hermit I must be. Methinks this fits me very well. Now must I learn to bear a walking staff and exercise some gravity withal.
Here's through the woods and through the woods and through the woods to look out a shepherd and a stray king's daughter. But soft, what have we here? What art thou?
I am a hermit.
An emmet? I never see such a big emmet in all my life before.
I tell you, sir, I am an hermit, one that leads a solitary life within these woods.
Ah, I know thee now. Thou art he eats up all the hips and haws. We could have not one piece of fat bacon for thee all this year.
Thou dost mistake me, but I pray thee, tell me what dost thou seek in these woods?
What do I seek? For a stray king's daughter run away with a shepherd?
A stray king's daughter run away with a shepherd? Wherefore? Canst thou tell?
Yes, that I can. My master and Amadine, walking one day abroad, nearer to these woods than they were used, about what I cannot tell, but toward them comes running a great bear. Now, my master, he played the man and ran away, and Amadine crying after him. Now, sir, comes me, a shepherd, and he strikes off the bear's head. Now, whether the bear was dead before or no, I can't tell. For bring 20 bears before me and bandage their hands and feet, I'll kill them all. Now, ever since, Amadine have been in love with the shepherd. And for goodwill, she's even run away with the shepherd.
What manner of man was he? Canst describe him unto me?
Describe him? I warrant you that I can. It was little, low, broad, tall, narrow, big, a well-favoured fellow, a jerkin of white cloth and buttons of the same cloth.
Thou describest him well, but if I chance to see any such, pray you, where shall I find you, or what's your name?
My name is called Master Mouse.
Oh, Master Mouse, I pray you, what office might you bear in court?
Marry, sir, I am a rusher of the stable.
Oh, usher of the table.
No, I say rusher. I'll prove my office. Good. But look, sir, when anyone comes from under the sea or so, and a dog chance to blow his nose backwards, then with a whip I give him the good time of day, and straw rushes presently. Therefore, I am a rusher. For high office, I promise you.
Where shall I find you in the court?
Why, where it's best being, either in the kitchen, eating, or in the buttery, drinking. But if you come, I will provide for thee a piece of beef and brewis, knuckle deep in fat. Pray you, take pains. Remember, Master Mouse.
Aye, sir, I warrant I will not forget you. Oh, Amadine, what should become of thee? Whither shouldst thou go so long unknown? With watch and ward each passage is beset. Doubtless she hath lost herself within these woods, and wandering to and fro she seeks the well, which yet she cannot find. Therefore will I seek her out.
Amadine! How like you Bremo and his woods?
As like the woods of Bremo's cruelty. Though I were dumb and could not answer him, the beasts themselves would with relenting tears bewail thy savage and unhuman deeds.
My love, why dost thou murmur to thyself? Speak louder, for thy Bremo hears thee not.
My Bremo? No, the shepherd is my love.
Have I not saved thee from sudden death, giving thee to live, that thou mightst love? Dost thou whet me on to cruelty? Come kiss me, sweet, for all my favours pass.
I may not, Bremo, and therefore pardon me.
See how she flings away from me. I will follow and give a rend to her. Deny my love. Ah, worm of beauty, I will chastise thee. Come, prepare thy head upon the block.
Oh, spare me, Bremo. Love should limit life, not to be made a murderer of himself. If thou wilt glut thy loving heart with blood, encounter with the lion or the bear, and like a wolf prey not upon a lamb.
Why then dost thou repine at me? If thou wilt love me, thou shalt be my queen. I will crown thee with a complet made of ivory, and make the rose and lily wait on thee. I'll rend the burly branches from the oak, to shadow thee from burning sun. The trees shall spread themselves where thou dost go, and as they spread, I'll trace along with thee.
You may, for who but you?
Thou shalt be fed with quails and partridges, with blackbirds, larks, thrushes and nightingales. Thy drink shall be goat's milk and crystal water, distilled from the fountains and the clearest springs, and all the dainties that the woods afford, I'll freely give thee to obtain thy love.
You may, for who but you?
The day I'll spend to recreate my love, with all the pleasures that I can devise, and in the night I'll thy bedfellow be, and lovingly embrace thee in mine arms.
One may, so may not you.
The satyrs and the wood nymphs shall attend on thee, and lull thee asleep with music's sound. And in the morning, when thou dost awake, the lark shall sing good morrow to my queen, and while he sings, I'll kiss my Amadine.
You may, for who but you?
When thou art up, the wood lanes shall be strawed with violets, cowslips, and sweet marigolds for thee to trample and trace upon. And I will teach thee how to kill the deer, to chase the hart, and how to rouse the roe, if thou wilt live to love and honour me.
You may, for who but you?
Welcome, sir. An hour ago I looked for such a guest. Be merry, wench, we'll have a frolic feast. Here's flesh enough for to suffice us both. Stay, sirrah, wilt thou fight, or dost thou yield to die?
I want a weapon. How can I fight?
Thou wantest a weapon? Why then thou yields to die.
I say not so. I do not yield to die.
Thou shalt not choose. I long to see thee dead.
Spare him, Bremo, spare him!
Away, I say, I will not spare him.
Yet give me leave to speak.
Thou shalt not speak.
Well, give him leave to speak, for my sake.
Speak on, but be not over long.
In time of yore, when men, like brutish beasts, did lead their lives in loathsome cells and woods, and wholly gave themselves to witless will, a rude, unruly rout, then man to man became a present prey. Then might prevailed, the weakest went to war. Right was unknown, for wrong was all in all. As men thus lived in this great outrage, behold, one Orpheus came, as poets tell, and them from rudeness unto reason brought, who, led by reason, some forsook the woods. Instead of caves, they built them castles strong. Cities and towns were founded by them then. Glad were they that they found such ease, and in the end they grew to perfect amity, weighing their former wickedness. They termed the time wherein they lived then a golden age, a goodly golden age. Now, Bremo, or so I hear thee called, if men which lived tofore, as thou dost now, wildly in wood, addicted all to spoil, returned were by worthy Orpheus' means, let me, like Orpheus, cause thee to return from murder, bloodshed, and like cruelty. Or should we fight before we have a cause? No, let us live and love together faithfully. I'll fight for thee.
Fight for me or die? Or fight, or else thou diest.
Hold, Bremo, hold!
Away, I say, thou troublest me.
You promised to make me your queen.
I did. I mean no less.
You promised that I should have my will.
I did. I mean no less.
Then save this hermit's life, for he may save us both.
At thy request I'll spare him, but never any after him. Say, hermit, what canst thou do?
I'll wait on thee some time upon thy queen. Such service shalt thou shortly have, as Bremo never had.
Furs, what shall I never have you find out, Amadine and the shepherd?
Oh, I've been through the woods, out and through the woods, and I could see nothing but an emmet.
Why, I see 1,000 emmets. Thou meanst a little one.
No, that emmet I saw was bigger than thou art.
Bigger than I? What a fool have you to your man! I pray you, master, turn him away.
But dost thou not hear? Was he not a man?
I think he was, for he said he did lead a salt seller's life about the woods.
Thou wouldst say a solitary life about the woods.
I think it was so indeed.
I thought, what a fool thou art.
Thou art a wise man. He did nothing but sleep since he went.
But tell me, Mouse, how did he go?
In a white gown, a white hat on his head, and a staff in his hand.
I thought so. It was a hermit that walked a solitary life in the woods. Well, get you to dinner, and after never leave seeking till you bring some news of them, or I'll hang you both.
How now, Rumbelo? What shall we do now?
Faith, I'll home to dinner and afterwards to sleep.
Why, then thou wilt be hanged.
But faith, I cannot, for I know I shall never find them. Well, I'll once more abroad, and if I cannot find them, I'll never come home again.
I tell thee what, Rumbelo, thou shalt go in at one end of the wood, and I at the other, and we we'll both meet together in the midst.
Content. Let's away to dinner.
Unknown to any here within these woods, with bloody Bremo do I lead my life. The monster, he doth murder all he meets, he spareth none, and none doth him escape. Who would continue? Who? But only I, in such a cruel cutthroat's company. Yet Amadine is there, how can I choose? Ah, silly soul, how oftentimes she sits and sighs and calls, "Come, shepherd, come, sweet Mucedorus, come and set me free," when Mucedorus present stands her by. But here she comes. Ah, what news, fair lady, as you walk these woods?
Ah, hermit, none but bad, and such as thou knowest.
How do you like your Bremo and his woods?
Not my Bremo, nor Bremo's woods.
Why not yours? Methinks he loves you well.
I like him not. His love to me is nothing worth.
Lady, in this methinks you offer wrong, to hate the man that ever loves you best.
Hermit, I take no pleasure in his love, neither doth Bremo like me best.
Pardon my boldness, lady, sis we both may safely talk now out of Bremo's sight. Unfold to me, if you so please, the full discourse, how, when, and why you came into these woods and fell into this bloody butcher's hands.
Hermit, I will. Of late, a worthy shepherd I did love.
Shepherd, lady, sure a man unfit to match with you.
Oh, hermit, 'tis true, and when we had...
Old man comes, refer the rest until another time.
What secret tale is this? What whispering have we here? Villain, I charge thee, tell thy tale again.
If needs must. Lo, here it is again. When as we both had lost the sight of thee, it grieved us both, but specially the queen, who in thy absence ever fears the worst, lest some mischance befall your royal grace. Shall my sweet Bremo wander through the woods, toil to and fro for to redress my wants, hazard his life and all to cherish me? I like not this, quoth she. And thereupon she craved to know of me if I could teach her handle weapons well. My answer was, I had told therein, but glad, most mighty queen, to learn of thee. This was all.
Well, so, none can dislike of this. I'll teach you both to fight. But first, my queen, begin. Here, take this weapon. See how thou canst use it.
It is too big. I cannot wield it in mine arm.
If so, we'll have a knotty crabtree staff for thee. But, sirrah, tell me, what sayest thou?
With all my heart, I willing am to learn.
Then take my staff and see how thou canst wield it.
Well, first teach me how to hold it in my hand.
Thou hold'st it well. Look how he doth. Thou mayst the sooner learn.
Next tell me how and when 'tis best to strike.
'Tis best to strike when time doth serve. 'Tis best to lose no time.
And now or never is my time to strike.
And when thou strikest, be sure to hit the head.
The head.
The very head.
Then have it thine, so lie there and die. A death, no doubt, according to desert, or else for worse, as thou deservest a worse.
It glads my heart this tyrant's death to see. Ha!
Lady, it remains in you to end the tale you had lately begun, being interrupted by this wicked wight. You said you love us.
Aye, so I do, and none, but only him, and will do still as long as life shall last.
Tell me, lady, if I set you free, what course of life do you intend to take?
I will disguised wander through the world till I have found him out.
How if you find your shepherd in these woods?
Oh, none so happy then as Amadine.
In tract of time, a man may alter much. Say, lady, do you know your shepherd well?
My Mucedorus! Hath he set me free?
He hath set thee free.
And lived so long unknown to Amadine?
Aye, that's a question whereof you may not be resolved. You know that I am banished from the court. I know likewise each passage is beset, so that we cannot long escape unknown. Therefore my will is this, that we return right through the thickets to the wild man's cave, and there a while live on his provision, until the search and narrow watch be past. This is my counsel, and I think it best.
I think the very same.
Come, let's be gone.
Nay, soft, sir. Are you here? What's on you? I was like to be hanged for not finding you. We will borrow a certain stray king's daughter of you. A wench, sir, we would have.
A wench of me? I'll make thee eat my sword.
Oh, Lord Nay, you are so lusty. I'll call a cooling card for you. Master! Master! Come away quickly!
What's the matter?
Look, Master, Amadine, and the shepherd. Oh, brave!
What? Minion, have I found you out?
Well, no, that's a lie. I found her out myself.
Thou gadding huswife, what course hast thou to gad abroad, when, as thou knowest, our wedding day so nigh?
Not so, Segasto, no such thing in hand. Show your assurance, then I'll answer you.
Thy father's promise, my assurance is.
But what he promised he hath not performed.
It rests in thee to perform the same.
Not I.
And why?
So is my will, and therefore even so.
Master with a nonny no.
Thou wicked villain, art thou here?
What needs these words? We weigh them not.
We weigh them not? Proud shepherd, I scorn thy company.
Yeah, we'll not have a corner of your company.
I scorn not thee, nor yet the least of thine.
Well, that's a lie. He would have killed me with his pug's Nando.
This stoutness, Amadine, contents me not.
Then seek another that may you better please.
Well, Amadine, it only rests in thee without delay to make thy choice of 3. There stands Segasto, here a shepherd stands, and there stands the 3rd. Now make thy choice.
A lord, at the least, I am.
My choice is made, for I will none but thee.
A worthy mate, no doubt, for such a wife.
And Amadine, why wilt thou none but me? I cannot keep thee as thy father did. I have no lands for to maintain thy state. Moreover, if thou mean to be my wife, commonly this must be thy use. Bed at midnight, up at 4, trudge all day, and drudge from place to place, whereby our daily victuals for to win. And last of all, which is the worst of all, no princess then, but a plain shepherd's wife.
God give you good morrow, goody shepherd.
It shall not need. If Amadine do live, thou shalt be crowned King of Aragon.
Master, laugh. He's king, then I'll be a queen.
Then know that which never tofore was known. I am no shepherd, no Aragonian I, but born of royal blood. My father's of Valencia, my king, my mother queen, who for thy secret stake took this hard task in hand.
Ah, how I joy! My fortune is so good.
Well, now I see Segasto shall not speed. But, Mucedorus, I as much do joy to see thee here within our court of Aragon, as if a kingdom had befallen me this time. I, with my heart, surrender her to thee, and lose what right to Amadine I have.
Well, Barnes door, born where my father was constable. Bots on thee. How dost thee?
Thanks, Segasto, but yet you levelled at the crown.
What, master? Bear this and bear all.
Why so, sir?
It says you take the goose by the crown.
Go to, sir. Away. Post you to the king, whose heart is fraught with careful doubts. Glad him up and tell him these good news, and we will follow as fast as we may.
I go, master. I run, master.
Oh, break heart, and in my pallid woes, my Amadine, the comfort of my life. How can I joy except she were in sight? Her absence breedeth sorrow to my soul, and with a thunder breaks my heart in twain.
Bear these passions, gentle king, and you shall see 'twill turn out unto the best, and bring your soul to quiet and to joy.
Such joy as death, I do assure me that, and naught but death unless I hear of her. Oh, and that with speed. I cannot sigh thus long.
Joy and happiness! Joy and happiness!
What a tumult do I hear within?
Joy and happiness! Joy and happiness!
I hear a noise of overpassing joy within the court. My lord, be of good comfort. And here comes one in haste.
A king! A king! A king!
Why, how now, sirrah? What's the matter?
Oh, 'tis news for a king. 'Tis worth money.
Why, Sarah, thou shalt have silver and gold, if it be good.
Oh, 'tis good. 'Tis good. Amadine?
Oh, what of her? Tell me, and I will make thee a knight.
What, a sprite? But I would not be a sprite, masters. Get you away if I be a sprite. I shall be so lean, I shall make all you afeard.
Thou sot, the king means to make thee a gentleman.
I should want apparel.
Thou shalt want for nothing.
Then stand away, trick up thyself. Here they come.
My gracious father, pardon thy disloyal daughter.
Oh, to mine eyes behold my daughter Amadine. Rise up, dear daughter, and let these my embracing arms show some token of thy father's joy, which ever since thy departure hath languished in sorrow.
Dear father, never were your sorrows greater than my griefs, never you so desolate as I comfortless. Yet, nevertheless, acknowledging myself to be the cause of both, on bended knees, I humbly crave your pardon.
I'll pardon thee, dear daughter, But as for him...
Ah, father, what of him?
As sure as I am king and wear the crown, I will revenge on that accursed wretch.
Yet, worthy prince, work not thy will in wrath. Show favour.
Aye, such favour as thou deservest.
I do deserve the daughter of a king.
Oh, impudent! A shepherd and so insolent.
No shepherd am I, but a worthy prince.
In fair conceit, not princely born.
Yes, princely born. My father is a king, my mother queen, and of Valentia both.
What? Mucedorus? Welcome to our court! What cause hast thou to come to me disguised?
No cause to fear. I caused no offence, but this, desiring thy daughter's virtues for to see, disguised myself from out my father's court, unknown to any. In secret I did rest, and passed many troubles near to death. So hath your daughter my partaker been, as you shall know hereafter more at large. Desiring you, you will give her to me, even as mine own, and sovereign of my life. Then shall I think my travels are well spent.
With all my heart. But this... Segasto claims my promise made to Fore that he should have her as his only wife before my council, when we came from war. Segasto, may I crave thee, let it pass, and give Amadine as wife to Mucedorus?
With all my heart, were it a far greater thing, and what I may to furnish up their rights with pleasing sports and pastimes, you shall see.
Thanks, good Segasto. I will think of this.
Thanks, good my lord, and while I live, account of me in what I can or may.
And good Segasto, these great courtesies shall not be forgot.
Well, you master. Bones, what have you done? What, given away the wench you made me take such pains for? Oh, you are wise indeed. Master, if I'd known of that, I would have had her myself. Faith, master. Now, we'll go to breakfast with a woodcock pie.
Oh, sir, you had best leave this knavery.
Come on, my lords, let's now to court, where we may finish up the joyfulest day that ever happed to a distressed king. With mirth and joy and great solemnity we'll finish up these Hymen's rites most pleasantly.
Oh, lords! Well, the first I'm one too. But here, Master King, by your leave, a cast. And now you've done with them, pray you begin with me.
Why? What wouldst thou have?
Oh, you forget now. Little apparel to make us handsome. What, should lords go as beggarly as I do?
What I did promise thee, I will perform. Attend on me. Come, let's depart.
We'll
wait on you with all our hearts.
And a piece of my liver too.
How now, Envy? What, blushest thou already? Peep forth, hide not thy head with shame, but with a courage praise a woman's deeds. Thy threats were vain, thou couldst do me no hurt, although thou seemst to cross me with despite. I overwhelmed and turned upside down thy block, and made myself thyself to stumble at the same.
Though stumbled, yet not overthrown, thou canst not draw my heart to mildness. Yet must I needs confess thou hast done well, and played thy part with mirth and pleasant glee. Say all this, Yet canst thou not conquer me, although this time thou hast got. Yet not the conquest neither. A double revenge another time I'll have.
Then, caitiff cursed, stoop upon thy knee, yield to a woman, though not to me, and from her foes, high God, defend her still, that they against her may never work their will.
Envy, were he never so stout, would beck and bow unto her majesty. Indeed, comedy, thou hast overrun me now, and forced me stoop unto a woman's sway. God grant her grace among us long may reign, and those that would not have it so, would that by envy soon their hearts they might forego.
The council, nobles, and this realm, Lord, guide it still with thy most holy hand. The commons and the subjects, grant them grace, their prince to serve, her to obey, and treason to deface. Long may she reign in joy and great felicity. Each Christian heart do say amen with me.
Amen. Well done, everyone. That rattled along very nicely. That went down very well, very well. I was sitting there all the way through with all the bears. All the bears were having a lovely little confab of things, and I was just going, well, in this original version, I'm sort of going, yeah. Apologies to anyone who really didn't have much of a part. I hadn't really much room for maneuver there. I could have slightly more evenly distributed that. But yeah, I'm looking at the doubling going, is it doubling to 8? No, you can double this down to 6 very nicely. This is a really fun thing. And I really like in this version that we don't have the scene in the early on where we find out who Mucedorus is. I like the way that Mucedorus then at the end in this ridiculous way just goes, I in fact am a prince. And it's just a what? Even though on some level we're all sort of expecting it. And when you say, that no one has heard heretofore, it's absolutely true. Because say later on, they add this a couple of scenes where we meet him going into disguise, and we also meet his papa. But this play dispenses with that, and it's much. It feels much tighter as a construction. There aren't these sort of random big pomp scenes. The king just has his counselor and some other people who are vaguely on stage. How was it for everyone? Lots of things I think to discuss about that. We've got 10 minutes or so. Mucedorus stepping in very, 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 very much on the hoof there, but I think you slotted in incredibly well. Well done. How was Mucedorus for you?
That was so much fun. I mean, I found it very exciting to do, especially with a bit less preparation than is perhaps ideal, as in none. But no, it was great fun, and it's got some really lovely things in it. I mean, that whole section when Bremo is sort of suddenly turning lyrical out of love for Amadine and all of that, I was sort of like, whoa, where did this come from? Out of nowhere. It was lovely. And all the comedy with Mouse and the various people Mouse plays with. So it's really fun, really good, I think. Yeah,
I'm really feeling with Bremo that it needs to be a sort of semi-giant puppet thing. We should have it should be the sort of a slightly different version of the Muppet version of Christmas Present in Muppet's Christmas Carol. It needs to be this sort of big hulking thing, partly so that he doesn't feel like a genuine threat, because I don't think at any point we need to feel that the threat is too genuine, because this is a comedy.
No, I think he is a genuine threat at the beginning. I think the whole thing is this is the Beauty and the Beast story in an early version.
Other thoughts, Lynn?
Yeah, I feel like the clown integrates better into this story than it does in some, where the clown just feels like sort of like we've got the comic actor in the troupe and we have to make up crazy shit for him to do. He's kind of more of a consistent character from beginning to end. And he has a job to do. He's this goofy servant. So the comedy works better for me than it does in some other plays from about this era, because it just seems more, more integrated, more organic to the story.
I actually feel a bit sorry for Segasto, who becomes, even though in theory he's in charge, becomes this sort of feed line for the clown in almost all of those scenes. And it's just like, and now I have to deliver the setup. And each
he's Dick
time...
Smothers. No, he's Dick. He's Dick Smothers.
Yeah. And he doesn't get the girl.
No. I quite like the fact he just goes, right, I've been really seriously gazumped here, so just backing off. How was Segasto for you?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Obviously he's quite vain and entitled and privileged, and I enjoy playing with all that. But at the end, he does know when he's beat at the end, and he graciously, maybe slightly through gritted teeth, he gives up his claim. And yeah, like we were saying, I really enjoyed all the scenes with the mouse character. Just all the kind of the confusions and the growing frustration. It's just so much fun.
I think there is that element that actually on Zoom, a lot of these relationships are quite difficult to do, because there's an awful lot of business, I think, that needs to go between you and Mouse.
Yeah, and I think it would be better with we'll see more pace as well, but that's hard as like a kind of the mini delay you get over Zoom. So.
Yeah, and you can't hit him
no.
from that distance. I feel that there's some physical, at least the attempt to hit Mouse, many a time. It feels like you want to do that, and it's very difficult to do from this far away. How's Mouse for you, Stephen?
Well, it's a lovely part. I'm very lucky to have been given it. I think. I mean, it takes a bit to actually get the gags. I could see them sort of whizzing past me as I was sort of desperately trying to grab them sometimes. But yeah, I agree. I agree with Lynn. That sometimes when I've been given the clown role, I can just kind of, do the old sort of Laertes and just sort of wander off for half an hour and come back again. And I couldn't with this one. It was awful. I had to stay on station, stay alert. Clowns don't like that, I mean, I'm not at all like a clown. I've got a really good attention span.
Well, that's the thing with the cast on the whole. That principal cast, of which you basically have about 5 primary characters, and then you have everybody else. Everybody's busy if they're in a major role, because you're not off stage for very long, and then we have all these peripherals as well. Amadine has an interesting journey to make. How was that for you, Liza?
Oh, I quite liked it. It's very it was very nice to play someone who's generally so cheerful, although some pretty terrible things happen to her, but she seems to hold her own in against Bremo, and the challenge, I guess, is making her less of a damsel, but then she's written as a damsel, so why not lean into the damsel? It was quite nice playing. It was quite nice playing opposite Lynsey, old friend and colleague of long standing. So very nice to get to marry you, Lynsey. I'm sure you'll make an excellent spouse. Yeah, it's just. I mean, acting-wise, my fault is that I do things. So it's nice to play a character like it's challenging in a good way to play a character where you mostly just have to feel things. Like, there's very little to do. Things just have to kind of happen around you, and you... I quite like her. Oh, the one thing we were talking about, Bremo's sudden flight of fancy, where he describes their woodland life, and that is very much Marlowe's The Passionate Shepherd. I'm not sure chicken and egg which came first, but there's sort of a string of those, descriptions of the ideal pastoral life plus a proposition.
Yeah, it's what's interesting on the mode of this, as a comedy, is that that it would make sense if it was a semi, within a humorous context of taking something that's known and just sort of putting it in as a reference point that people get. Of course, we have this battle between comedy and envy. The question of whether we put that more comedy and envy popping in during the show. At moments of high, comedy starts winning, and then envy comes in and goes, no, I will add a new roadblock. I will sprinkle fairy dust over Segasto to make things worse. And then comedy comes along and does something, or whether there's elements like that. Tamara, how was comedy for you, or for that matter, any of your other mighty roles?
Comedy was fun. Comedy was a lot of fun. The messenger, I actually really like the messenger too, because he was on stage a lot longer than I expected. So he was just listening to the back and forth and being very judgy. So that was quite interesting. Obviously, I hadn't actually done a reading of this play before this, so this was the first time. So I could have really honed in on that a bit more, I think. Rumbelo, what's going on with that guy? He doesn't turn back up. He just sort of buggers off because he can't find them, doesn't he?
Yeah, it seems like we have this comedy material for the clown, but it needs another person to feed off. That's not Segasto. We've been doing that for a while. I really like the whole thing of what should we do? Well, we'll go either end of the wood and then meet in the middle, which is sort of logical, but also clearly, and it just, yes, I'll see you. Let's go to dinner, which is potentially contradictory. Envy, I saw waving for a moment ago. But I'll go to Dan first. Dan, very brief life. Apologies, I didn't give you more. But again, as I was saying, there's not that much to give out once you've done the primary roles. Beautiful death. So, any thoughts on the play overall?
It was a play that I was always curious about because, as you know, it's been printed the most times out of any of the early modern plays. More than, I can't mention the other ones. It's been more than.
Very successful. Yes.
Yeah. So it was nice to be a spectator in a way, because then I actually just got to listen to the play and see how and try to imagine how it might have been staged. This was definitely the earliest version I was checking out, because the epilogue of there, it refers to the queen, and then the later version refers to the king. There. I think it's a very tight version. I don't think it's necessary to do the reveal right away of Mucedorus. I definitely think this is a pacey play, and it's with some pretty broad comedy to be played here. This is not one. I mean, subtlety is good. I think if you're playing the villain, I think that might work really well against the rest of the broad comedy. But otherwise, it's a hit.
Yeah, I think you're right. There's something about Segasto which is just rather than over the topness. There's just something like, it's just he hires the wrong person for the job, and it's a mistake that he rues throughout the entire narrative. Lynn, you were waving earlier.
I just had a doubling idea. Again, you were talking about maybe trying to make that as economic as possible, and then meshing that with the idea of having comedy and envy kind of hovering over the process. Envy himself could play Bremo. It's like, okay, we need another bad guy. I'm gonna put on my fur toga and grab a club, and you could have that change be on camera or on stage. Okay, I have to get in there myself and be and throw a wrench in the works.
Yeah, that makes sense. Sorry, go ahead, Rob.
Yeah, no, carry on.
No, I was just going to say, because I was looking at the doubling from, I think it's a 1610, where they talk about Tremelio and Envy being played, and Tremelio is kind of a not villain of sorts, but he's an adversary. So it makes sense as well for Envy to play Bremo.
Yeah, I mean, there was part of me thinking actually multiple people should play elements of Bremo. It depends how big you want to make him. I want to make him a giant. I know he's just supposed to be a wild man, but I just want to make him really, really big. And that's just me. That's my problem, and I will live with it. Sarah, obviously, the king. How was it being Daddy?
Oh, it was so much fun. I loved that role. He was just a hoot. I don't know if maybe he was meant to be a hoot, but the thing is, because I'm playing Gorbadoc tomorrow, I just thought, oh well, I need to make him a different kind of king. So yeah, no, he was really good fun, and quite a good king, I thought. A little over emotional at times, but I thought he was, quite a sort of fair and just king, and he seemed quite cheerful and happy in the well-being of those around him. So he was great to play.
I did particularly like your line, Segasto. May I crave thee, let it pass?
Yeah.
Make it up to you later. The king really doesn't need to ask. He just
but he does.
But he does, and it's just more. This is all a bit socially awkward. What should we do? Ooh, and all that material. And Jess, we've talked about Bremo variously. But Alan, how was Bremo for you and your enormous hat?
It was quite fun. I found the physical acting bit of it I found quite tricky to try and work out how the heck to do that. And the other thing is that the mood changes within the speeches, and I think he has got to start out genuinely scary, and then to have that reformation or change when he comes under the influence of Amadine. And I found trying to change my voice with that, I found that quite difficult. And I'll be interested to listen back to it to see whether I actually made anything approaching a decent job of it.
Yeah, it is a play that I feel that a soundtrack of that moment where he changes of just almost cheesy music plays, and it's like to give us cues and things to play off. I'm really interested in actually how practically to do this. It feels very much a stage thing rather than other mediums, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't continue to try. Sadly, that is all we have time for. I'd just like to thank everybody in the room for their wonderful performances and all their bears for all the work that they did. And so all that remains is to say fare thee well and goodbye.
Bye.